Welcome to Who Are You, a CSI podcast. I'm Raven, and I've seen CSI thrown through around 3 to 4 times.
And I'm Nick, and these are my first time experiencing these episodes.
And today we are reviewing Season 4, Episode 21, Turn of the Screws. Original air date May 6th, 2004. Director Darren Sarafian. Writers Anthony E. Zeiger, Carol Mendelson, and Richard Catalani. And we begin today's episode similar to last week, not with shots of Vegas, but instead of a relay race in the desert, we have an amusement park and a bunch of people on an amusement park ride. So
I guess maybe it's after at the end, but there's a couple earlier. I think for some reason I have them labeled as opening scene Vegas shots.
Okay, so maybe before the credits they do show Vegas at some point.
But that's most of the shots, which is why it stands out.
Okay, so what is our Vegas score for today's episode?
There's only one other thing, and our Vegas score is a 12.
Oh, wow. Is that our lowest for this season?
Yeah. I thought I forgot to keeping track.
Yeah, you were like, I forgot to jot down.
I was like, all right, I'm paying attention.
Yep.
And there's a couple, the thing is they're in a lot of weird locations. Oh, they're inside a lot.
Yeah.
There's a scene that's 11 minutes. It's the entire commercial break. They're inside in the lab area, and then we just kind of move from one topic to the next.
Yeah.
And so there's not a lot of transition. So there's a lot of long in the same location for a long period of time.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was weird. I was like, oh, I must have missed this. I did not. Yeah.
No, just wasn't a Vegas heavy
3
episode.
scenes, 9 seconds.
Okay. Wow. Yeah, that's okay.
And I kind of stretched those seconds, to be fair.
You were like, let me give it a one Mississippi when it maybe doesn't deserve one Mississippi.
3.5.
Yeah. That's fair. So we're at this amusement park where we're watching a bunch of people riding rides. There's a family on a wooden coaster. They get off of the roller coaster and next group boards. The coaster is called Pharaoh's Fever, which try to say that fast.
Pharaoh's Fever fast.
Yeah, I was like, so the family
it starts with a P and an F. They're completely different letters.
Yeah, it's fine. Don't worry about it. I didn't have to.
I do have a note. The very first note is 0 chance they're going to kill these children. The first scene is 3 kids.
I did, because obviously I knew what the big case was this episode, but I couldn't remember if they killed the kids or not. So I had a moment where I was like, no, I don't think they're going to kill the kids, but they could. The kids do die on CSI.
Think they're going to kill the kids.
Yeah, they definitely want to do.
They're really going to kill the kids. Little kid with his no seatbelt on, and
they definitely
rattling.
Did.
Yeah, no,
but said family safely departs the coaster. They're in line to get food when the next group that boarded onto the coaster is the one that derails. So these people just go careening off of this. Well, they're in the coaster, but the cars derail and go shooting over to the parking lot. It is now nighttime. Jim Brass is on the scene. Grissom arrives. Grissom, of course, being a roller coaster aficionado, as we know him to be, has rode this roller coaster before. And Jim Brass is letting him know that there's 6 dead. There's obviously a lot of witnesses. There's a lot of people at this theme park. And then, of course, before we go to credit, Grissom has to make a line about a runaway train.
Yes.
I was like, okay.
Not a train.
Yeah.
Because it's on a track.
It's on a track.
I will say, I had this before we're watching this episode, I had seen the still from IMDb with the roller coaster. And I believe I told you, if they don't pay off Grissom's roller coaster thing from the first
you were going to be very mad about it.
And they pay it off in spades this episode.
They do. They're really. I did. At the end of this episode, I was like, Nick better be happy about that.
At the very last scene of this episode, I was like, oh, wow. They're just
going.
They're just laying it on.
Yep. So we go to credits. We're back at the scene. Nick, Sarah, and Greg Sanders arrive. Grissom is giving out instructions on who should be doing what.
Can I talk about how the fact that this is the 5th time in 2 seasons where they've used this trope where it's oh, sorry, we're late. There was traffic here or traffic there. And I think they're doing this so that they can kind of pre-process the scene and just have Grissom explain.
Yeah, what's going on.
Fast track the evidence.
Yeah.
To get through the initial evidence gathering, because I think it's less interesting. But they keep coming up with these reasons why people are arriving at the scene. The scene's
late. Yeah, and having to be caught up on what's going on.
Yeah.
And one thing that Greg Sanders does notice upon arriving late to the scene is that one of the bodies is significantly further from all the others. Everybody else is sort of clustered in an area, and then there's just one body a ways away. So they have a conversation about, why possibly this one victim landed so far away from everybody else. We go over to storyline B. Warwick, Catherine, and an officer are on a...
You can't just skip over the
Sorry.
possibly one of the best lines in the whole episode.
Oh my goodness, okay.
Where Greg is like, wait, am I not supposed to actually ask questions?
Oh,
Ask any questions?
He's like, oh, when Grissom says, do you have any questions? He doesn't actually want us to ask any questions.
He just gives coy answers all the time.
He does. He never gives straight answers.
He never answers anyone's questions.
This is very true. I'm just so accustomed to it that I skipped right over that part.
I had me literally laughing out loud.
Yeah, because you're like, so true. He never gives straight answers. And so we go to storyline B. We're with Warwick, Catherine, and an officer on a bridge. They walk over to David, who is with the victim. She is 13 years old. Her name is Tessa. And David is explaining that she was face down, like when lividity first set in. But then when she was dumped here, she was dumped face up. So this was not like the original crime scene. And so they rely on the bugs. Sadly, Grissom not here to enjoy this moment, but they rely on bugs for initial timeline. And from the maggots present, they believe that the victim had been out there for about 24 hours.
They really could have paid off Grissom's backstory, like phone a friend. But I like that like other people have learned about bugs.
Yes, it's good.
Yeah.
It's good knowledge to have as a CSI. We have a little montage of the rest of the team. They are photographing the scene. They're collecting evidence. We then have Jim Brass talking with one of the workers, who I did have to laugh because I was like, of course. Because Jim Brass is like, what sort of training did you need to run this roller coaster? And he's like, what do you mean, what training? Like, you hit a button. It's green. It's a star. That's
Take the brake off. I hit the button.
Yeah, like, I don't know what you mean. But this worker only remembers 5 people being on the roller coaster.
Yes.
So that's all he recollects. But he does point out that there's a digital camera that takes pictures of people on the roller coaster. But he does point out that it wouldn't have taken a picture of this last ride because they derailed before they got to the loop that has the digital camera.
He says it in a really weird way.
He does say it in a weird... I can't remember how he says it, but he says it in a very
airborne,
roundabout way.
But they were airborne, so it wouldn't have taken a picture. It was like...
Yeah, and it was like, no.
It would have if the camera was before they were airborne.
Right. Like, would have.
I think you were supposed to realize that it was that hill.
Maybe that's what it was.
They didn't really do a good job explaining that.
No, they didn't do a good job.
Like, so instead of coming down the hill and taking a picture on the down, like on the drop, then they went over. So like the camera would have taken a picture of nothing.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. We then have Grissom with the park engineer, Woody, who is also a roller coaster aficionado, we learn. He didn't even think derailment was possible. Like, he's like, I didn't even think that this was a possibility. And as they're talking, Grissom finds one loose screw. But as he's talking to Woody, all of the screws on like the wheels of the train would need to be loose for the coaster to like derail. Like one being loose would not derail the entire caboose cabin.
Like the truth is probably like, like half of them or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like there's a point where stress would start to become an issue. I actually just watched a interesting video about an escalator failure that happened in Italy.
Okay.
And basically they kept investigating it, and like the people who knew about escalators, like there were all these failures, and the failures like these safety nets, and they were like going off, but they weren't enough. And the people who were familiar with escalators, like, this should never have happened. It literally turned out to be sabotage.
Oh.
And it's like, yeah, like they deliberately weakened the emergency brake and then like disabled one of like the third, like the tertiary defense thing.
Yeah.
And so like there are so many failures would had to have happened.
Yeah.
That
For
immediately
it to go
experts
wrong.
were like, this doesn't happen. The reason why these are so over-engineered because they just have to be like mindlessly safe.
Right.
Elevators are like that too. There's like so many safety things on elevators these days.
I was in an elevator that fell once and we had to climb out of it.
Elevators do weird behavior sometimes. I have been trapped in an elevator as well for several hours. Well, no.
Oh, my brother was.
I now know how to escape from an elevator if I'm ever trapped in one.
Oh, okay. Good to know.
Yeah. So I thought it was kind of funny because I'd seen that and then I started watching this. And so my mind immediately was like, yeah, this is one of those things where there's like so many things have to fail that like either there's a lot of neglect going on for repair, which is the repair guy, right? Or two, he's immediately like that wouldn't have happened.
Yeah.
It's like some fishy's going on here.
Indeed. So Grissom enters the tent where Nick, Sarah, and Greg Sanders are processing the evidence that they've been collecting. Grissom's like, hey, I'm looking for a screw as they're trying to figure this all out. And Nick notices that there are tool marks on like one of the nuts that they have found. So they're like, wait a second. Is this sabotage? Right? Was it purposely loosened? And that's why there's tool marks on it.
It does make me think, like, how do people think that these things get assembled and disassembled? Like, wouldn't they always have tool marks in them?
One would think.
But maybe because they don't have the right tools.
Yeah, it like left marks where there shouldn't be marks.
It was like monkey wrench tool marks. They that does come up later. Like,
yeah, it does. We're back with Warwick and Catherine. They are with a mom at police headquarters. We learn that this is Tessa's mom. She did not report her missing because she often spends nights at her friend's house. So when she didn't like come home from school, her mom was like, "Oh, I just figured that she was at her friend's house. Like she spends like several nights a week over there." Mom leaves to go see her daughter's body. Warwick is suspicious. Warwick is like, who doesn't report this? Sorry, go ahead.
So mom is my first miss spot the guest star.
Dun, dun, dun. Let's go.
So mom is played by Kate Vernon, who plays a character named Ellen Ty on Battlestar Galactica.
Oh, okay.
Who's a pretty big character. She's in 24 episodes. She's the wife of like the second command person on the spaceship.
Oh, okay.
And I'm pretty sure she's like in the early seasons and then not in it. And then she has a really big role at the end of the season. I mean, this is definitely a spoiler alert, but I think she's a Cylon at the end of it all.
It seems like she's only in 2 episodes in season 1.
I think she gets killed.
And then she's in like 6 or 7 episodes of season 2. And then she's in like 6 episodes of season 3. But then she's in like 12 episodes of season 4.
Yeah. I think she gets killed. And then she comes back in season 3. She's a Cylon. And then she's in there through the rest of it, like as like a big twist. And it's like through the whole show. But anyway, so she doesn't really look that different than she looks in that show. I don't know why, other than haircut maybe. But like, I didn't recognize her at all. However, in tandem with mom is daughter Tessa is played by somebody named Davy Chase.
Yes.
Who, this isn't actually about the guest star I should really know, but she's the ring girl and she's the voice of Lilo from Lilo and Stitch.
Whoa! Weird.
I just got stumbled on that. I think because like I like opened the tab or something and I was like, why? I don't know. Like the name seemed familiar to me.
Yeah.
I just rewatched Lilo and Stitch.
Okay, that's so funny.
For like the first time in years because we watched the live action one and then we watched that.
Oh, okay, yeah. That makes sense.
I kept being like, was this in the?
Yeah, you're like, was this in the original?
I was like, yes. Like there was a whole character I didn't remember, and I was like, oh, did they just introduce to the live action? She's like, how do you not know who David is? I was like, I need to rewatch the animated.
You're like, evidently, I do not remember this.
I also thought that Agent Cobra Bubbles was like a shark alien. I was confusing him with the captain.
Oh yes, okay. I know who you're. Yeah, I know who you're.
I was like, I thought I was like a mass. So like, yeah, that's so we had watched it, and so I would like looked up to see if like some of the people were the same people. So I'd seen her name, and so yeah, I was like, wait, I recognize that name, and I clicked and I was like, wait, and then I was like. I saw the ring and I was like, wait a minute, this isn't the weird creepy ring girl, is it? Yep.
You're like, indeed it is.
She's the person's gonna crawl out of your television and kill you. So yeah, I saved her from the. I didn't want to mention that during the death scene.
Fair.
Fair. I figured I'd tag team with mom, who I definitely should have known. I love Battlestar Galactica. I've watched it twice. I have seen. I have the board game and like you can like basically play her character.
Yeah, as like one of the characters
in the expansion. So like I've seen her picture 100 times after watching the show. And yeah, I can't believe I missed that. It was like that's like the most missed spot the guest star I've ever had. Or 100%
to date.
Should have known. Yeah.
To date.
I mean, the fact that I didn't recognize a young child.
Yeah, that's yeah.
As a person who is both the ring girl and an animated character.
That's fair. That's very fair.
Just kind of a, not really a spot the guest star moment. That's kind of just like a, hey, fun fact, this person is actually in these 2 huge things that we both knew. Yeah. So, but I have one other spot the guest star coming up.
Okay.
which is the only reason I was on IMDb.
Oh, it was because of this other
Because this
one.
person, I stared at them and was like, I know this person from somewhere. I know this person from
Like, I
somewhere.
know them.
And
I
at the
know
end,
them.
I just had to look it up.
Fair. That's what we got to do sometimes.
I never remembered. And I was like, okay.
So Warwick is suspicious of our Miss Spot the guest star here. He like
Yeah.
cannot understand that she didn't report her daughter missing and didn't talk to her daughter for like over 24 hours. Catherine, on the other hand, is like, it's really tough being a single mom, like trying to raise a kid and like working and doing all this stuff.
Those are, by the way, at this point, both very reasonable things.
Yes.
Right? Like, it's
Yeah,
reasonable
yeah.
for someone to be suspicious of someone as a parent. It's also then reasonable to hear Catherine say, you don't know. Like, I know what
Yeah,
it's
you're not
like
a parent.
to
You don't know
be-
what it's like to like.
Yeah.
And it's
But
not
also-
like, and it's not like Tessa's like 7 years old.
Yeah. And not to put the cart before the horse, but like, if mom and daughter's relationship is strained, it's so much like it's not even it's more reasonable that like they might not always
Yeah.
be in perfect contact, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
You know, like how many times you're going to text your daughter and have her never text you back before you stop texting her, ask her what time she's coming home,
And this is
because she stays over.
and just a note, because this was 2004. This is when you're probably still paying per text to send text messages.
Oh
So
yeah,
you're
she
not
does
like
not have a cell
texting.
phone at that age.
Yeah, like you're
Yeah,
13. She probably doesn't even have a cell phone.
Yeah.
So we're then with Grissom with Doc Robbins, in a very crowded morgue because they have all the victims from the coaster accident. And he's just going over all the victims and, what their cause of death was. And then he gets to Jim Nevins, the body that was found further away from everybody else. He died from an impact of the head. But he died 16 hours before everybody else. And this might be the title of our episode. Grissom goes, but dead men don't ride roller coasters. Just saying. True story. We then have...
Look forward to season 29 where Grissom's last request is
to be put on a roller coaster.
to be on a roller coaster.
You know what?
Weekend at Bernie's.
You know what? I am sure someone has died of a heart attack on a roller coaster before. And they might have started the roller coaster alive, but they didn't end the roller coaster.
I mean, we know people have died hanging upside down on roller coasters.
That's what I'm just saying. So we're then with Grissom and Sarah with Woody the engineer again, and he is adamant that he took very good care of the roller coaster, but does kind of like admit that, because of budget cuts and hours being slashed, maybe wasn't doing sort of the maintenance that he had been doing in the past. But Grissom and Sarah kind of like go underneath the roller coaster. They're kind of like scoping the scene. Sarah spots what she thinks is like possible lubricant, so she takes a sample of it. Woody points out a cosmetic issue. There's like one little like beam that's just like flapping.
I mean, it feels like it could be structural, but
yeah. And he's like, it's not, don't worry about it. But Grissom asks for his pipe wrench, Woody's pipe wrench, which he's like, well, it's not mine, it's a Park's. And they're like, we will give it back to you, I promise. Can you just give us the pipe wrench?
Even better, we definitely don't need your permission.
Yes.
The park is compliant.
Yeah. So as they're standing there, Nick calls, and Nevin's outfit is covered in like red fibers. So Grissom's like, okay, we need to find a car that has like a red interior. So Grissom and Sarah then walk into the tent where Greg Sanders still is. He found semen in the roller coaster. They're not sure if this is like related to the crime or not at this point, but again, they're going to take a sample, run DNA, all that good stuff. The T-Bird that was in the parking lot belongs to the victim and has a red interior. And there's a wrench in a car, which Sarah picks up, yes, with gloves, but not taking any pictures first.
Correct.
No documentation, just goes and grabs it and takes it out.
They did that at the scene. They took all their pictures already.
I still feel like it should have been documented. We then have Jim Brass with Zach, another park employee, and he's saying that he saw the T-Bird after hours. He was like, oh yeah, Nevin's car, the T-Bird, was like in the lot after hours. And he's acting like this is no big deal because Jimmy Nevins liked to take his dates on Fever. That was like his like Mac Daddy move. That was a smooth move there. We then have work with David, and we find out that Tessa's cause of death is a spinal cord fracture, and it's like a gruesome wound. And I don't know if generally I don't find things in this show gruesome even when they are gruesome, but maybe it's because she's like so young, because she's like 13, that it was like, this was like a hard scene for me to like watch. I was like, oh, like she's a youngin'. But as they're examining, Work realizes that she has soil in the wound, which is weird. He's like, it should be like around it. Like, they found her outside. It would make sense for it to be like around it and things like that. But he's like, it really shouldn't be packed in there.
Yeah.
So he's like, that's kind of strange. I'm gonna take a sample. We then have some scenes of Nick examining the wrenches. Grissom enters. Nick has excluded Woody's wrench from making the tool marks on the nut. But we get a matchy match. I feel like we've not had a matchy match in a long time. I was like, oh my gosh, it's a matchy match. We're getting a match here.
It's a really strong matchy match, too.
It's a very strong matchy match. And the wrench that was in Jim Nevin's car matches the tool marks that they found on the nut. Greg Sanders enters. Come to find out, the semen also matches Nevin's. So Nevin is just coming up all over.
Everything's coming up Nevin's.
Everything's coming up Nevin's. We then have Sarah and Nick going through the coaster pictures, the digital camera that was taking pictures of people on the ride. And Nick is like, hey, why don't we go earlier? Because of knowing that Jim Nevin's to take his dates. He's like, let's see if we can find out who he was with that night. So they find pictures of Nevin's and his date in some compromising poses, but then they also just get a clear shot of her face. So they're like, all right, we need to find her.
I was also like, how many times they ride this roller coaster? The camera's only in one spot.
But there's no one there to stop.
Well, someone's gonna hit the brake button and hit the green button every time.
I don't know. So before we figure out who the date is, we're with Warwick and Catherine. They're at a convenience store. We learned that Tessa stopped there after school every day. So the person who worked at the convenience store recognized her. And they also realized that there's a camera. So there's probably security footage. So they're like, okay. So they secure the security footage. Before they review that, Grissom and Sarah are at the park, back at the theme park. And Woody IDs Cleopatra as Jimmy Nevin's date. So Grissom and Sarah interview who we learn is actually Lisa Hunt.
Cleopatra is the final Miss
Oh, really? Okay, let's do it. Okay.
This is Alexandra Breckenridge.
Yes, Breckenridge.
Who, yeah, I'll be honest. I'm going to name one thing, and then I'm going to tell you 3 other things anyone that people listening to this podcast could definitely know her from.
Okay.
I know her from American Horror Story. The very first season of American Horror Story.
Okay.
She's this maid character who is has an old form.
Yes, I'm watching her IMDb and I'm like, yes, okay.
And she's the young version of the maid.
Yeah, yeah.
Many episodes. She's the main. She was also in every commercial for that.
Yeah.
Thing. And she kind of. I kept being why does she look so much? But she doesn't have red hair, or she's also way younger.
Yeah.
Hopefully over 18. It's kind of a weird association, but she's in a bunch of episodes of Walking Dead. Late on her Walking Dead. She's in 35 episodes of This Is Us, another show I haven't seen.
I haven't seen that one either.
66 episodes of a Netflix show called Virgin River. I've never seen.
Never seen
that one. She's
a
main character in that show.
Yeah.
And so if you watch any of those things, her name is Alexandra Breckenridge.
Okay. All right.
But yeah, American Horror Story. I just kept being why does she look so familiar?
Yeah, you're like, what do I know her from?
She's just so young that I didn't quite put it together.
That's fair.
She also looks very different. She's in this scene has a wig on.
Yeah, she has a wig on.
Later scene she has a wig off.
Yes. Yes, when she's in interrogation later on.
She's a redhead or speaking with a Scottish accent, which I think was also a thing from.
Yes, I think it was.
It's been a long time since I've watched the American Horror Story, but
it's been a long time since I've watched it too. So they're interviewing our Spot the Guest Star here, and she essentially is like, yes, I was his date. Look, I had a crush on him when I was a freshman and he was a senior. And then, speed to today, and he still works here. He's kind of a loser, but hey, he was my big old crush when I was a freshman. And so when he asked me out, cool. So we had sex on the roller coaster, whatever.
Did you get the reference?
No, I didn't get the reference.
I had to look it up.
Okay, I did not get the reference. I got that Sarah was savvy enough to get the reference because she nodded and looked at Grissom yeah, that makes sense. What she's saying to me makes sense. And
the interesting part is the person who plays the character she's referencing is Jared Leto.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh.
So not really a Spot the Guest Star, but a weird roundabout. It's some teen show from My So-Called Life is the name of the show. I had to look it up. But Jordan Catalano. But yeah, he's the Jordan Catalano is played by Jared Leto. He's very young.
Okay. I did not. Yeah. I just assumed it was some character on some show that I didn't watch. And I was like, all right. I was like, that must be what it is.
I got curious on the second watch and I had to go look it up. And then I was like, wait,
You're like,
that's
that's what it
Jared
is.
Leto.
Right, fair enough. And she says, like, afterwards, like, he offered her a ride home. She was like, no, I live like a few blocks from here. So she walked home and she didn't notice anybody else. She wasn't like looking for anybody else either. So she's like, I could have missed somebody. Like, I wasn't scanning. I just figured we were alone and I walked home. Then we have Warwick and Catherine. They are looking over the security footage and they see like a boy grabbing Tessa. And so then we're with Catherine with said boy and his mom in interrogation. And he's like, hey, none of this is what it looks like. Like, we rode the bus together. She was like being bullied by the other girls. But if she sat with me, they weren't bullying her. And I just got my learner's permit. So I was just asking her if she wanted like a ride to go get slushies. And she said no.
This kid
And
has no lawyer. His mom's there.
his mom is there. Yeah,
Who
yeah, yeah.
was there the whole time? Apparently,
Yeah,
said,
yeah,
"Oh, my
yeah.
mom was in the
Because he only has his learner's permit, so he needs like an adult in the car. He can't be like
she should
driving
be
on his
like,
own.
she should be the one. She should be like in front of this interview.
She should be.
Like, I was there. This is what happened.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
This is my underage son. He pleads
Yeah.
the fact.
Yeah, yeah. But they evidently believe him when he's like, "Look, I just offered her a ride. She said no. She said she already had someone coming to pick her up, and then I saw her get into a truck." And evidently, they believe him. We then have Hodges pulling Sarah into the lab. Like, Sarah's like walking down the hallway. Hodges is like, "Whoop!" I'm like, "Whoa!" Dude, like, can you just say something?
This is
first?
kind of the way he was early on. It's been a while. So
it has been a little while. Yeah.
Hodges, but he's like, I gotta tell everyone I got the scoop.
Yep. So after he lists off all the ingredients that were in the sample that she swiped from the coaster, he finally tells her that it is.
My favorite ingredient is he says purified water.
Yeah.
Which tells me that somebody said, look up the ingredients in this thing and insert it here.
Yeah.
And like the script and then some PA went and did it. Because you could not chemically analyze to know water was
purified or not. Yeah,
it's mixed with all this other stuff.
Yeah.
Like all of those impurities could come from anywhere. You know, it's like it's like that. No, you just read a material like data safety sheet.
Yeah,
and one of the ingredients was purified water.
Yeah, that makes sense. But in fact, with CSI Magic, it is Duxapin ointment, which is essentially for like rashes. So their killer
to treat plants.
Yeah, like having a reaction to like poison ivy or something like that. So they figure killer must have a rash. We'll come back to this. Before we do, we're back with Warwick and Catherine. They're having a little walk and talk, and the soil that Warwick pulled from Tessa's wound was essentially a combination of like wild animal feces, like rhino and like crazy
hoofs of some
kind. Like weird stuff. But there's one landscaping company that like uses it, this company called ADL, and look at that, ADL was hired by Tessa's mom. So this is all starting to come together a little bit. So this brings Warwick and Catherine to the mother's house, and there's an ADL truck parked in her driveway, so that isn't great. So they go up to the door, the mother answers. Sorry, what was that?
It's a long project. Yeah.
It's a very long project, yeah. The mother answers, and she's there, as well as her boyfriend, Justin. So Warwick asks him to step outside, like, hey, let's go talk outside. He's immediately kind of defensive. He's like, whoa. But he always he's immediately defensive, but then always seems to go along with whatever's being asked.
Which I think is actually pretty good.
Like if someone just like
for his actual situation, yeah.
Yes. So then Catherine's with the mother, and the mother is talking about how she's only known Justin for a few months, but like, you know, he's a great guy, yada yada. Warwick's standing outside with Justin, and he's like, look, like, you know, sometimes I would pick Tessa up from the bus stop and bring her home. Like, not a big deal. And Warwick is like, okay, can we like look in your truck? And he's like, you know, I know there's a lot of creeps out there, but again, another one of those instances where like, he's like, what? And then he's like, oh, fine, okay. So Warwick goes in the truck, sprays the tools, and finds blood on a shovel head. Like a lot of blood. Not just like a little.
Yeah.
Like lots of blood. And then we're with Warwick and Catherine and the mother and her lawyer in interrogation because it's her prints.
They do this cheeky thing where they don't show you who's in the room, and Warwick's like, well, you were arrested, and we cover your prints, and they match the prints.
And then they shift over, and it's Mom, not Justin. And the blood is Tessa's. So this is not looking good. And she's, but the lawyer, like, is like, well, they do yard work together, and Justin wears gloves when he's using his equipment. So it would make sense that like the mother's prints would be on it, but Justin's wouldn't be. And they were like, true, like that could be a possibility. They're like, but this was enough to get a warrant, and your entire back of your car is covered in blood. So
I don't know how they got a warrant for and checked without her having any awareness that they did.
I don't know either. I don't know how that happened, but evidently
didn't tell her lawyer that happened.
Yeah. And so then we see a very noticeable shift in Mummy Dearest here. She goes from like sad, crying about her daughter, can't believe she's never going to see her again, to being like, that slut was stealing Justin away from me. I was like, whoa.
Full 180.
Whoa. And so she basically just goes on this like rampage about how Justin was the best thing in her life, and her daughter was trying to steal her, and Catherine wouldn't understand because she didn't know her daughter. Catherine's like, she was your daughter and she was 13. Like, I don't need to know anything else. Like, there's nothing else that I need to know about this situation. Like,
she should have been the most important person in your life.
Right. Not your boyfriend of a few months.
Was mom completely wrong?
Yes.
No, not about what she did. About was the 13-year-old daughter trying to steal the boyfriend?
No.
How come she didn't want to get a ride home from her friend? Why'd she have to wait for her boyfriend to come pick her up?
Okay. She's 13.
I know. But like, I was like, I kept waiting for the, like, I think the real answer is he gives us earlier. He gets her ice cream.
Yeah.
If you're a 13-year-old, I could go home with my friend who I don't really even know that well, or I could wait and I could get a free ice cream.
Right.
Yeah. But it was kind of funny how they didn't actually address that part.
Well, because I don't think you need to address it. She's 13. Like, even
it's not Law and Order Special Victims Unit, but we deal with some serious stuff in this show. It's not.
No, I know, but like
possibilities.
But even if theoretically she was quote unquote trying to steal him as a 13-year-old, your only options there are Justin's a good guy and is like, this girl's 13, she has a little bit of a crush on me, whatever. You know what I mean? Like, I'm gonna be appropriate and not feed into it, and she'll grow out of it, right? Because girls do, like younger girls do get little crushes, and especially if like there's a guy that's being nice to them, they might develop a little crush, right? So the only options are either Justin is like, oh, that's cute, but like not appropriate, and I'm not gonna like feed into it, and I'm like whatever, or he's a pedophile.
I just think they need to follow that up, because if he is a pedophile, he can also get arrested.
But it doesn't seem like, I don't think he was though.
I don't think you're supposed to think that. I
don't think you're supposed to think that
in mom's head.
Yeah,
but I thought it was a little. I only noticed that on the rewatch. I went, wait, why wouldn't she just take a ride home? Why does she? So she's like, so much want to go, and then later on he says, I caught when he said, oh, and I bring her ice cream. I went, they put that line in there so that he doesn't come.
Yeah, it doesn't like seem like a total creep. Yeah, yeah.
Because there's also this like idea that like he's doing this and not telling mom. They're clearly not having a conversation. Like, she could just be like, don't pick my daughter from school. I want her to walk. Because there's a whole thing too where he's like, oh, well, she thinks it's important that she takes the bus.
Yeah, because it like helps her be more independent.
Right? So it's like, I feel like this would have already got to the point where mom's like, don't pick up her. She needs to walk home. It's important to build character. And he's still doing it.
Yeah.
And then that's what's making mom so angry. Right. And
but her reaction to it is so over the top.
Yes,
like it is beyond.
I'm not defending mom in any way, shape, or form. I'm just saying, like, they kind of like leave a little bit of an opening there that I felt like they should have closed.
Fair.
Maybe it's just me. I think it didn't resonate with you, but
it did not resonate with me. No.
Is boyfriend a little bit of a creep?
No, I just read it as like, he's a nice guy, and like, if he's in the area, like, yeah, whatever, I'll go pick her up and like bring her home. Especially if he knows, like,
win the hearts and minds of the people that are close to you, the people.
And it's also like, mom says that they spend time alone, and then we learn that she's being bullied on the bus. Like, maybe Justin knew that she was being bullied on the bus and was like, if I'm in the area, I might as well just pick her up so she doesn't have to get bullied on the bus on the way home. Like, I didn't read it.
Oh no, yeah,
I didn't read anything into it.
I didn't think that the first time watching it. It only occurred to me on the
Yeah,
rewatch.
and that's
Like,
but yeah, that
wait,
makes
why
sense.
didn't
Yeah.
she just take that ride home?
Yeah. So that's the end. That wraps up storyline B for us. So we return to storyline A, and we have Sarah and Grissom. They're having a little walk and talk. And evidently the Duxaprint ointment is not like well prescribed yet. It's like pretty new to the market. And so they violate HIPAA laws and find out who it got prescribed to. And Cleopatra is one of them. So Sarah and Grissom are with Lisa and her lawyer in interrogation, and she's like, "Yeah, I had a rash. It was on my legs." And so the lawyer literally is like, "Look, unless you're gonna like arrest her for like upside
Former
down
spot the guest
unscrewing
star lawyer.
unscrewing a loose like a screw with her foot, like I don't know what we have to say here." But
This
as
is
part
a
of this, oh sorry, go
former
ahead.
spot the guest star lawyer.
Yes, this is a former spot the
Yeah,
guest star lawyer. Yep, yep.
no, doesn't count because
No, because
secondary.
yep,
I
he
think it's
doesn't.
his third appearance. Actually,
We only counted on the first go
do you
around.
know he only ever like represents like Richie clients?
Yes, he is the Richie lawyer.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
typecast.
He is typecast. But she does, and as you know, in this conversation, say that she gave some of her ointment to her tutor, Zach, because he also got the rash because she thinks that they got it when they were like out sitting in the grass studying.
Yeah.
So this brings Jim Brass and Sarah with Zach at the park. And Zach is like, maybe we should talk somewhere else. And Jim Brass is like, great idea. Let's go downtown. And Sarah's like, you know what? I'm going to stay here. And as she stays there, she fingerprints the broom that he was using, the handle of the broom that he was using. Which, man, they process those prints fast. Because then we're with, is it, I think it's Grissom? Yeah, Grissom and Sarah with Zach and his lawyer. So many lawyers employed in this episode. Just lawyer.
Almost everyone, well,
Which is good.
Except for the kid, 13-year-old, the 15-year-old.
Yeah, I mean, Brad's mom. He tried. He did what he could as a
He also told his mom, like, shut up. Which is like normally like the adults say that to their lawyer. The lawyer's like, you don't have to answer that. He's like, no, I got this. He's like, I committed the crime.
Bam. So we learn that the Princess Sarah pulled from the broom that came around super, super fast, matched to the prints that were pulled from Nevin's car. And as they're talking to Zach, they realize that he just wants Lisa to see him outside of the textbooks.
Yeah.
He just like really is all about Lisa. And
like, lady, I get $20 an hour tutoring.
At the time, $20 an hour tutoring is a lot.
I know. He's like, do you think I took a minimum wage? Like, what?
Yeah, like why do you think I was like taking this job?
His lawyer's not very good.
His lawyer says nothing. I'm like, lawyer, tell him to stop talking.
But it's like the way he's so disrespectful.
Yeah. And then he says, like, you know, rumors started that like Jimmy was going to take her on a date. She said she told Zach it was just rumors. And so he admits to tampering with the roller coaster because if it was just rumors, she wouldn't be on the coaster when it derailed. So fine. But if she was lying, then good, she'd be on the roller coaster. And both her and Jimmy would go down.
And then...
But he didn't do the job quite correctly, and thus it didn't. So then he just killed Jimmy, let her go home, though. And then he just didn't think about going back to fix the roller coaster. Because Grissom's like, you could have went back and fixed the coaster. He's like, yeah, I didn't even think about it.
But, like, even if... Let's say it was a rumor. And so then there was, like... If Jimmy had some other girl, then would have just killed two random people. Well, one random person and Jimmy. And if he didn't go on it, then the roller coaster would be deadly for the first rider in the morning. So, like, you're committing murder one way or another.
One way or another. You're
like, especially if you weren't going back to. I mean, you were still committing murder potentially.
100%.
But like, you were just. It's almost like cold-blooded, like apathetic murder.
Oh yeah. And so that's the end of storyline A. Sorry, but it's not the end of the episode. Before we wrap up this episode, we're back with Grissom at the park with Woody, and coaster's already back open. Feels a little fast to have that coaster back open.
Well,
I know that they realized like what caused it, but still, like that seems a little fast.
It's also like, how many carts do they have? Like,
right?
You gotta replace the one that's smashed to bits.
Yeah, there's no way that that's gotten fixed already, but coaster's back open, and then they have a very long discussion about the coasters that they have rode, and like wooden versus steel coasters, all this good stuff.
Their records,
They
marathon
just
records.
they just share their shared interests together.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Pharaoh's Fever. Buckle up, get ready to scream.
I should have caught those loose screws. Used to check them every morning. But since management cut back on my hours,
You're not to blame for this, Woody.
I just hope they don't blame the coaster. It may not be the Manhattan Express in New York, or the Desperado in Prim, but it still makes grown men scream.
My first week in Vegas, I rode the Desperado.
They're TISM focused together, and just that's the end of the episode. So, Nick, what did you think about this week's episode?
I liked this week's episode. I gave it 3. I gave it a watch. I didn't feel like there's anything too crazy to require a rewatch.
Yeah.
A lot of Grissom storyline, I guess, in the coasters.
Yeah.
I actually liked the scene at the end. The Grissom.
I think it humanized Grissom a lot.
Yeah, he seemed very normal. Like the line of like, just like the thrill, right? Like,
yeah, it's a thrill. He doesn't care about wooden versus steel. It's the thrill that's important.
He's still very Grissom in this scene.
Yes,
like he's excited about something.
Yeah.
And I think that's important because I think we're still dancing around the undertone of something else that he might be excited about in the show. And now we have a sort of non-human version of excitement from Grissom that we can, maybe allow, like when he gets excited about something else later on, potentially.
Yeah.
Then, you have something to draw back to. Like he's not icy all the time.
True.
He's excited about bugs. He's excited about roller coasters.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was good. The scene was a little weird, but it was fine.
Yeah.
It's like, I guess maybe if I was more of a roller coaster person, it might mean something, but
yeah.
I like the episode. It's a little funky, like the story's a little funny. The stories were fine. Like the storylines were good. The evidence was fine. Evidence was good.
Yeah.
Nothing like crazy sciencey.
No.
Normal sort of like fingerprint tool mark. We got a matchy, which is actually fun.
I know. It's been so long since we've had a matchy.
Yeah. I would say this is, just above. This is just like in the solid good category.
Yep. I'm also going to give this a 3 out of 5. So, because I gave last week's episode a 2.5, and I definitely enjoyed this more than last week's.
I'm very glad I downgraded last week's episode, or else this would have to have at least gotten a 3.5.
Right. Yeah, and that's a
significantly better episode than 7.
Yeah, it's better. I will say that I thought I liked this episode more than I did. When I saw it was this episode, I was like, oh, I really like this episode. And then in watching it, I was like, oh, it's a good episode, but it's not
it's
great.
Off the backs of some duds.
It is off the backs of duds, but it's, everybody's involved. Greg Sanders is out in the field doing his field stuff.
If there was a little bit something extra in this, and I was like, oh, this is a rewatch, then I think I would have just gone straight from 3 to 4.
Oh, okay, yeah, I can see that.
What I mean? It's it's almost like it didn't have to have like a weird gotcha science or evidence piece or something. It was pretty obvious. You were just kind of along for the ride.
Yeah. And I mean, everyone is involved. Storyline A, pretty good. I feel like the twist in storyline B was a little too abrupt. So I think that's part of why I didn't give this a 3.5. It was
the turn for the character.
Yeah, from the shovel to the reveal, it's just like boop boop.
Oh, rushed.
Yeah. I feel like there wasn't that could have been
those 2.5 minutes at the end to talk about roller coasters.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm just saying. It just felt a little okay.
Yeah. They didn't do even the end of storyline A where they're like, oh yeah, I got the prince off the broom. You could have just arrested the kid and took his prince and maybe suspected it. You know what I mean?
Right.
They were just yep, we're just gonna fast forward at the end here.
Yeah.
I think maybe where the episode kind of falls apart is it's very much and we're done.
Yeah, that's what I feel. I just feel like it's and then done, and you're like, oh, all right,
yeah. They don't have that. A lot of times they have that build where they're like, oh, starting to pull back the layers, and you're you kind of figure it out, and you're just we got to get this guy and cross our T's.
Yeah, I feel like we just didn't have that in storyline B, and that's probably. For me, if it had that, I think that would have bumped this up to a 3.5 or a 4 for me. Yeah. I also agree it's a watch. Totally fine to watch. It's an enjoyable episode. You're not really going to get anything from a second watch, I don't think. So, solid episode, better than last week's episode. We'll see how we feel about next week's episode when we return to review season 4, episode 22, No More Bets. But otherwise, we will talk to you then.
This is not the season finale, right?
No, we have one more.
4 episodes or something, right? Okay.
23?
Well then.
23.
No spoilers.
No spoilers.